it's Ellie and welcome back to my channel. So it's time for another video on the apps that students must use. I've previously made a video on student apps and that video got quite a lot of views. So I decided to make something along the lines again, but I have tried to give you a lot of new recommendations in this particular video. So maybe if you haven't watched my previous video yet, you might want to check that out. But yeah, watch this one first. The first app that I'll recommend for any student if you want to learn a lot in your field or outside your field, because I understand that most students today are not very happy with the subject that they are studying. So whatever the case is, you have to get this app called edX. edX is basically an app that gives you access to a lot of online courses for absolutely free. You can pay if you want a certificate, but most of the times that's not really necessary, just the knowledge is. So I have done a lot of courses on edX. I have also used some other websites, but personally I find the app of edX the best. There are websites like FutureLearn or Coursera you can also go at for courses, but I have found the best collection on edX itself, and the user interface of edX is also better than the others. But I have heard that there are many other apps that you can explore. I think there's something called an academy, something called Khan Academy. I have not tried these out, but I think that as a student you have to install some apps that will help you expand your knowledge beyond what you are learning in your class. And I think edX is the perfect app to do that. So maybe you want to check it out. By the way, something you should note is that none of these apps have sponsored today's video, but if there are any affiliate links in the description, it is possible that I'll get a small commission if you decide to become a paying customer of that app. But I have made sure that almost all these apps at least have a free trial. If not, they are completely free. But most of them are absolutely free to use. And yeah, that brings me to the next app that I think every student must have. Oh my god, I am totally a mess today. But the next app is Storytel. A lot of you who watch my channel, you have seen me go on and on about this particular app, and if you have not tried it out yet, I must tell you, you have to, because it's really good. It has a lot of audiobooks, over 3 lakh audiobooks to be specific, and you get access to them at just $2.99 per month. And the free trial link that I have is of 30 days, so you can actually practically try out this audiobook app with so many books for free for 30 days if you want to. And what I suggest you guys to do is, if you plan to get Storytel, you should listen to the books that are related to studying, specifically the ones related to memory. I said this in my previous video as well. I have been reading a lot of books about memory improvement and they really help, okay? They really help. Also, I listen to books at 2x speed, so that also sort of helps my comprehension skills, which are very important in studies. No matter which field you're studying in, the faster you can read, the faster you can study, and the better marks you can score in your exams. But again, we are not studying for marks, we are studying for expanding our knowledge. While that would be totally a lie, honestly, because we do need marks. But then knowledge is something that is going to stay with you forever. Marks, it might not. It really depends on what you plan to do ahead in your journey. This brings me to the next app that you must have if you want good scores in your exam. And this app is called Researcher. I think the name itself is quite self-explanatory. I will recommend this app specifically for college students, not school students, because Researcher has some really advanced level papers, okay, related to any field that you want. You will get papers there. Just search for the keyword or search for the journal that you're looking for and you'll get it on Researcher for free. Now, the problem that I face sometimes is that some of the papers are not available for everyone, but most of them are. If you're a school student, I will suggest that you can read these, but don't go overboard in your answers, because I have seen some teachers not liking that. It happened to me once that one of my teachers once wrote in my copy, "Don't try to teach the teacher," because I wrote a very advanced level answer and my teacher wrote something like that, and I was so offended by that. But again, I think she was also very offended by me writing such things. I wrote really advanced level stuff. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but again, my teacher should have not. Okay, that is a very sad memory of my life. I cried literally that day when my teacher wrote that in my copy. Don't try to teach the teacher. The next app that I'll recommend, and I'm a total addict of this particular app, This app is called Planner. Okay, it comes with, I will leave the icon here, but Planner basically has everything that you possibly can need in order to plan your whole year. Okay, so what you can do is you can add your particular courses. I am a person who does a lot of courses at the same time. So first of all, I'm doing a big course like of 3 years, that is the Bachelor of Arts in English Literature. So that's my like primary focus. But then aside that, I do a lot of courses on websites like edX and FutureLearn, so I also have to keep track of that. So I have finished a lot of courses there, but the ones that I'm currently doing are on Coursera. These are number one, Words Spun Out of Images, which is a Japanese which is a course on Japanese culture. The next that I'm doing is one on Korean politics from Yonsei University, and this is really good, but I won't recommend it to anyone unless you're very interested in Korean culture. I don't think it's going to help me in my career in any way, but then it's very interesting to study that course. And then I am currently studying the History of Opera, which is a course created by King's College London, which is available for free on FutureLearn. So I'm doing that as well. So it's really difficult to keep track of all these. And the thing is, as much as I would like to just sit down for a day and complete one course in one whole day, it gets very boring. So what I do is I use Planner, and then what you can do is you can add the course that you're doing, then you can add the tasks under those courses. Okay, so it helps you segregate everything, and then it's all color coded. You can put due dates, you can put reminders, you can like practically do anything that you want to. You can track your progress yourself on the particular app. This app is gold. I have no idea why this app is free, but I'm happy that this app is free because it's really good. It's really good. Let me know if you know of any other planner apps that are as good, because I was really looking for such an app for a long time. I have been using to-do lists for almost a year now, but then to-do lists have this drawback, like it's just a list, but this app actually acts as someone who is going to urge you to complete your assignments and tasks and projects. And like my favorite thing about this app is the subcategories that it provides. It really helps. The next app that I will recommend for anyone who is studying is this app called Deep Stash. This app is also something that I really admire because I get a lot of content ideas from this particular app. So Deep Stash is basically an app that gives you a feed of relevant things. All of you who have this app called Share It have got these really strange sort of notifications of like very vulgar things all the time as news. Okay, but in Deep Stash you'll get the best sort of things as news, and I love that. First thing you should do on Deep Stash is select the categories that interest you. There are a lot of categories, but the ones that I have selected are money and finance, self-improvement, and health. Okay, and this app has other categories also. There's, for example, time management, there's communication, there's problem solving, there's teamwork, there's leadership, and I'm pretty sure whatever your interests are, you will find a category of that in this particular app, and you can just select it, and whenever you open the app you will get a collection of the best stories in that particular area. And the best part is that they sort of summarize whatever is written in the article into a small image. So even if you're a fan of micro content, if you don't have the time to read a lot of content, you can actually get access to the main ideas just by looking at the page once. So that's why I love Deep Stash so much. And again, it gives me a lot of ideas. The next app that I will recommend to any student is this app called Reader Pro. This is very helpful if you want to learn speed reading, if you want to enhance your brain power, and I will highly recommend this app for people who want to be good at English and memory at the same time. The next app that I'll recommend to any student is the Pomodoro app. I have been talking about the Pomodoro technique for a long time. By the way, this book is also available on Storytel, so maybe you can check it out. But basically the gist is that if you're using the Pomodoro technique, it makes studying very easier and memorizing very easier, especially because in the Pomodoro technique, you study for a particular time and then you stop studying and take a small break and then you start studying again. But all of these are very measured. It's not like you study for 1 hour, you take a break for 3 hours, then you study for half an hour, then you take a break for 2 hours, or vice versa. Okay, it's not something that is unregulated, but a regulated way of studying in which you study and also take breaks, so that you don't lose your mental health in the process of studying. Okay, I think that's very important, because as students, most of the times, like as a student in school, I would always like, either I'll study for 8 hours straight, or I'll study for half an hour and then sleep for 8 hours straight, even though I have slept at night. So that was sort of my schedule as a student in school. Partly because I did not like very enjoy what I was studying. I'm very grateful that right now I can pursue a subject I like. I understand how privileged I am to be able to do that. So like, if anything that I'm saying is not relevant to you, please judge me. But just make sure that you apply only the things that will be relevant to you. Okay. The next app that I'll recommend is this app called Daily Art. I think if you have watched this movie called Dead Poets Society, it has a quote that says something like, sciences, commerce, these are very important to sustain life. But poetry, love, art, these are what we live for. And I think that no matter what a student is studying, they need an influx of art, creativity in their life. If you don't agree with me, if you're someone who's opposed to creativity, and at that point I'll be like, why are you even watching my channel? Because I talk about books mostly on my channel. So, but then the thing is, you watch movies, you listen to music, you watch paintings, and you smile, you read comics. All of these are arts, and arts are very, very important in order to live. Okay, so make sure you install this app called Daily Art. Basically, this app gives you one art per day with the historical background, because I have seen a lot of people looking at art and then not liking art because they don't understand. Like, just spend some time, for God's sake. So this particular app gives you the art piece and a little bit of explanation about what the art piece is, what the format the painting was like painted in, and any historical information that might be relevant to that particular piece of art. I find it really, really amazing. And yeah, it's just one per day, and it really expands your knowledge about the arts in the world. The next app that I'll recommend is this app called Money Manager. I have seen a lot of apps for students that help you maintain money. But what I like the most about this particular app is that you don't really need to link anything to this particular app. You can just enter the amounts and just be done with it. I don't like linking my bank accounts anyway, but some apps, like for Google Pay, it's absolutely necessary. But if it's just a money management app, I really don't want to, like, I don't want them to track my money directly from my bank account. I just don't want to give them the details that I don't think they need. So Money Manager is good for those if you want to like keep a track of your money, because in student life we are all getting broke. We have all, like, we have to buy books, we have to do Xeroxes, which is a big expense. Last day I got a Xerox of 380 rupees. So oh goodness, like, we really need to talk about how costly Xeroxes are for college students, and like school students also. So coming back, I think this particular app helps a lot in, like, managing your money expenses if you want to like keep a track and yeah, be better about your finances, because after this you are going to go and have a job, and then money is going to be very, very important. So if you know how to manage a little amount of money, you'll be better at managing big amounts of money as well. Last but not the least, I will recommend a podcast app. Any podcast app. You can actually listen to podcasts on Spotify also, but since I recommended Spotify in my previous video, I'll recommend Podcast Addict in this one. It's really good. Some of the podcasts that I'll recommend, if you're a student in general, you like Thomas Frank's podcast, which is called College Info Geek, something like that. I don't really listen to it regularly. I watch his channel regularly. I've watched all his videos, but I have not listened to as many episodes on the podcast itself. The podcast I personally like, and I kept this for the last because I know not a lot of you are literature students, but I guess quite a lot of you are also, because like, how did you discover my channel otherwise? But yeah, this podcast is called History of English Literature. I love this podcast. The guy is amazing. The only problem with this podcast is that almost the first 15 to 20 minutes of this podcast are always ads. And as a creator myself, I understand the importance of ads. But 15 to 20 minutes of ads without any relevant content. So I suggest that you start listening to this podcast after the first 15 or 20 minutes. So that might help, because the podcast itself is really good. And I understand there's a lot of costs that go into the making of podcast. So maybe they put the ads there to cover up for the cost and like to make money. Like great, but I really wish they had timestamps or something like that, or at least an organized way of putting in ads, because it's the first 15 to 20 minutes are really annoying of that particular podcast. But otherwise, the podcast is really good. Like, I have a very mixed feeling about that podcast. But yeah, guys, that will be all for today's video. I hope that you like my recommendations of these apps for students. If you have any recommendations for me, if you have any recommendations for students, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to check them out. And yeah, guys, let me know which video you want to see from me next. Yeah, I'll be back with another video next week. Till then, bye bye.